Today I'm here with Chris Haggart, partner and financial advisor at Independent Wealth Partners. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks, Cameron. Thanks for having
Great
me.
to have you here as always.
Thank you.
You've gone and written an article.
Yes.
That'll be in the show notes, everyone. So you'll be able to click the link and go and read it. It's a fascinating article. And when you first sent it to me, I said, wow, this is something here and we have to talk about it. The article is titled, "The Most Expensive Invoice You Never Pay."
Yeah. So this was really born, I guess, of some experiences that I've probably had over the last 12 months or so where clients have engaged us for a piece of work, and then we've kind of got through the initial stages, and then it comes to the point where you need to execute a plan because of either complexity or difficulty, and then decided that it's too much to implement. And so have subsequently then disengaged, essentially, and then watching the outcome then subsequently play out in their world as a result of deciding that I think this is too expensive now, it will be okay, and then watching it just turn into an absolute disaster. And then I've gone back and gone, okay, what's the actual financial consequence of having not paid out that, that setup cost or that advice cost, and how much has it actually impacted their world?
Yeah.
And the numbers are pretty staggering. What then happened is then I went back and had a look through some of the clients that also didn't engage over the last sort of 2 or 3 years.
Right.
And surprise, surprise, what a consistent theme. And then went back and thought, well, what has been the outcome? And in every single case, they as clients would know it because it's opportunity cost, right? And so you don't actually see it, but knowing where they would have been
As a result.
as a result of it, it's not astounding because I think we intrinsically know it, but to actually look at it and find the data and the evidence, I just think it became something that needed to be talked about.
Yeah, look, good on you for tackling it. So why do you think people react so strongly to an initial, like the advice fee? So what is it about going and getting advice, and why are they reacting so strongly to that?
Yeah, it's fear of loss, fear of being making a bad decision, or fear of and look, I must say the financial advice industry has brought this upon itself, in a sense, because ultimately fear of loss is probably lack of trust, right? So we've had a lot of financial planning scandals over the course of decades. So for some clients, when they come in, there's you've got to overcome that, I guess,
Level of mistrust.
Yeah, correct. As a result of it.
Sure.
And then I think it's also part of, I guess, the way the industry is remunerated is a lot of advice firms out there are not independent. Well, we know that because it's 13,000 advisors and 400 and something are actually independent.
No. There's 15,000 advisors.
Right.
There's about 120 that are independent.
Okay, well, yeah. So it's an even smaller percentage. So remuneration structure then is, well, if I'm going to get paid by an insurance commission or a referral fee or an asset-based fee or also percentage of assets that we're looking after, that can subsidise the cost, the cost the true cost, the actual
what it
cost.
actually costs. Yep.
But then you come to an independent advice firm where there's none of that for us, and so the cost is laid bare, and comparatively, it seems really expensive.
Yep.
But then if you're in a really complex situation and you need to add accounting complexity on top of that, or some form of trust overlay, then I can understand why clients feel like, oh, hang on, I'm paying all these advice fees, I'm paying setup costs for these entities, then I've got to pay ongoing accounting costs. It's not worth it. Why would I do that? I can understand the rationale, but one of the things that I wanted to do with this article is to point out that the value of advice, because ultimately this is what it comes down to, there are tangible aspects to it, but it's not all tangible.
No, it's
there are other aspects in here where we are able to work around hurdles or overcome obstacles or deal with legal complexities, or there's a whole raft of things I could go on, but with that, I guess, far outweigh the costs. But then it's hard for people when they're like, all right, I see this as a line item right now, I have to pay it right now. That feels like a loss.
Yeah, yeah. Look, that's really well framed, because there is the cost of getting advice, whether that's $8,000, $5,000,
Yep.
$16,000, whatever it is. And as you know, we price based on complexity and how much time and effort we've got
Correct.
to spend and value. So there is that significant cost that people see up front. If it is a $10,000 advice fee over a 12-month period, as an example,
Yep.
You can attach yourself to that number.
Yeah, correct. Yep.
As opposed to see the clearer and the bigger picture that there is potential benefit in that. And I think financial advice is beneficial in let's just call it two ways. So there's the tangible, which is what you just touched on. So there's the tangible benefit where we can say things like, because we know we can work it out and say, we think you will be X amount of dollars better off as a result of getting financial advice through a combination of strategic advice,
Yep.
tax savings, et cetera, over a period of time. And I know we do that a bit, and those numbers are considerable, hundreds of thousands of dollars over time, sometimes $1 million plus. And so again, that is a number that people can physically attach themselves to. I pay this and I'll get this and I'll be better off. Right? And I think nearly 9 times out of 10, they are better off.
Yeah.
However,
I'd probably say that number's higher, but yep, sure.
okay, let's go with 99 times out of 100. Is that better?
Yep.
Okay, sure. But then there is the intangible benefits. And the intangible benefits are things like, how do I feel?
Correct.
How do I feel after going and getting financial advice? How do I feel? And that is something that is intangible. It's not something you're going to feel. But if you've got a pathway to be able to deliver upon the things that you want to do with your life, and you are working towards those outcomes, and your financial advisor that is focused on helping you do the things you want to do with your life, we know how people feel because they tell us, and it's in all our Google reviews. We know how they feel. They feel better. They get peace of mind, and they get the confidence to do the things that they want to do with their life.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting though. It's a mind frame too then around how people are coming in, because I feel like if I was to survey the client responses that I've had, clients would value the tangible outcomes more than the intangible. Initially. Yep. And so when they're looking at it, like if you're coming in and saying, all right, I'm going to pay you $12,000 a year. I've got accounting fees of $2,000 a year. That's $15,000 out. Where's your value? What value are you going to give back to me? Like, how are you going to make my $15,000 back? And so we can show that, and we are able to demonstrate it. The hard part of that is those tangible benefits are realized over time.
Yep.
So yes, there are instances where you can make an instant sugar hit and return that value back to clients immediately. But then what clients then have once they've signed on in terms of their experience is they get to see the intangible value of that advice. And once they're clients, that's actually the thing that they value more than the intangible. So it's actually, I find the psychology of that I find really fascinating in that, like, if you asked all the clients who were with us for 3+ years, what's the most valuable thing? It will be nothing tangible. No. Like the tangible things will be a distant last.
That's right.
On the list. But for clients who haven't been through that experience with us, it's flipped the other way around, and they're the ones who are at risk of, you walk away. They're the ones I basically wrote the article for, is that if you don't pay that sort of not invoice, but like the
fee.
The fee, correct. That's what you sort of miss out on along the way.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think that's really well put, Chris, because you have to go through the process, and there's a significant element of trust that you have to give to whomever you work with,
correct,
to allow for that process to occur. Yeah. And I talk about this a bit. I just think that trust process it's hard. Like
It is.
it would be. I've never
Yeah,
had to
it's like,
experience
yeah,
it,
correct.
right? But
Yep.
the idea of walking into someone's office and getting on really well with them, and then saying, "Here's like." Telling them everything about your life, and
Yep.
then saying, "Here's our finances. Tell us what to do." Well, that's a big deal.
It is.
It's a big deal. So I think like trusting people through that process is what's required, but you have to go through that trust process to get to a point where you get to receive the intangible benefits, the peace of mind, the feeling that you're safe, the feeling that everything's going to be okay, and that we've got a group, an organisation, an advisor that's sitting there helping us do the things that we want to do with our life. It's a process.
It is. But I think the one thing that someone could take away from this conversation is to then say, well, yeah, sure, I get the intangible benefits, but you also get the tangible benefits that you were looking for in time.
That's right.
And that's one of the things that you need to continually report back onto clients, is to say, well, we are getting the fee savings, we are getting the tax savings, we are getting the investment outcomes that we wanted to. We are ahead of where we thought we were going to be, which is the experience that we have for 99% of all of our clients. When we track that over time, we're miles ahead of where we thought we were going to be. Right. And where they thought they were going to be was like still an amazing scenario. Yeah. And so it's just looking at it going, it's really important, I think, that, to try and work through some of because this is about behavioural finance, right? So it's the loss aversion from clients feeling like they've paid a fee and they don't want to lose money. It's overconfidence because they think that they can do this themselves rather than going to, a professional. There's all sorts of there's probably about 10 or 15 of the different behavioural biases, and they exhibit across the board as people are making these decisions. But if you go and Google it, go and have a look at what they are and see the effects that they can have on, people's situations, both emotional and financial. Like, the impact is really wide ranging.
Yeah, it is. I heard a stat the other week. 40% of members at Australian Super, 40% of members at Australian Super, when the war broke out, moved to cash. And I think about that, and I think they're clearly unadvised members.
Yeah, correct.
Right? Because, well, none of our clients have moved to cash.
Yep.
But why do you think that happened? Why do you think that happens for people?
Well, yeah. So if I was to say, my layman term would be fear of loss. Yeah. And then if I was in my behavioural finance speak, it would be loss aversion, wanting to protect what you've got because you feel your losses more than your gains.
Wanting to feel safe, right?
Yeah.
So
correct.
So people are wanting to feel safe, and I would contend that people want to feel that way because they're unadvised and they've got, and this was part of the podcast we did the other day with Shane. There's 300,000 years of humankind that has got us to the point where we are today, and we feel these things, and it's really, really, really hard to not feel them in the context of your money, because your money is emotional, because your money is attached to your life. Yep. And so going it alone means that you have to be aware of all those behavioural biases. Yep. But you also then, even being aware of them is not enough, right? You then have to not act.
Correct.
When you want to.
Well, the thing about the behavioural bias is they're mostly unconscious. They're not. That's right. It's not something that I actively go, well, I want to feel safe today, so I'm going to consciously go into Australian Super and so you're obviously making that conscious decision, but we're not aware of what's driving that. Underneath, and they're the things that we look out for. Yeah. That we're trained to assess that and say, well, how do we coach you around this? I understand you feeling this way, but if you do this, there's a significant aspect of, it might be detrimental in the future. It's in the article, there was a section in there around the 50 phone calls that I fielded on it was like the 16th of March 2020, I think is the date, that somewhere around there. That where everyone's calling up saying, no assets can be priced because nobody knows if there's going to be any financial market or otherwise going forward. And I guess having not lived through, but advised through the financial crisis, that was quite helpful in that moment because that felt significantly worse. But being able to coach those 50 sets of families through that and say, okay, today's not the day to be acting on emotion, and then was it 6 weeks later or something we were back to where we were. I don't remember and this is not me, this is not sour grapes, but it's just an interesting psychological aspect. I don't remember.
Are you sure this is not sour grapes?
I can't remember.
You want people to say thanks?
Yeah, well, I can't remember people coming back and saying, "Oh, thanks, Chris, for But there were lots of conversations that I was like, "Oh, I'm really glad that we didn't sell during that period." But, so that was 30%, right, at the bottom that day. So you sell everything into cash there, and then the markets recover 30% 6 weeks later, and you haven't acted. Like, that's,
You lost 30% of your capital and you didn't pick it back up on the other side.
Like, they're life-changing numbers.
That's exactly right. And people feel, just going back to that time, people feel so scared.
Yeah.
Because all you are seeing on the news is how bad things are.
Yep.
Now, they've got their own version of why they need to do
Yeah,
that.
correct. Exactly right.
But that's all you see. That's all you see in the paper. That's all you hear on the radio. That's all you see in the news. That's all your friends want to talk about. It's, I moved to cash. And by virtue of the fact that the market's already down 30%, people have been doing it and are continuing to do it.
Correct. Yep.
But the hardest part then about that is you're 30% down on your portfolio. If you've got $1 million, if it's in a balanced portfolio, it's not 30%, it's probably 18. If you've got $1 million, you're down 180 grand, right? So the hardest part about that is to then say, when do I go back in?
Correct.
And what people always do is they go back in when they feel safe.
Yeah, which is when it's recovered.
That's right.
Which is,
Exactly. So it's the worst thing you can do.
And then I think the thing that I've talked to for clients who were unadvised during those periods or during the GFC is they carry forward the emotional scars of, I lost money during this particular crisis. And so they therefore then carry a conservative or trauma-ridden response into the financial decisions that they then make with all of their money for the rest of their lives. Yeah. And so that then also it's almost like a compounding effect of like, this happened, reverberates all the way through their lives. And the impact of that is like unquantifiable.
Yeah, and there's also the additional emotional tax,
correct,
that people then have to deal with, again, as you just pointed out, for the rest of their life. But it sits there as like, if you're managing your own money, you're the one responsible for your family, and the people that you're responsible for in your life. And you've got to take on that entire emotional burden, right? That's significant.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, and so. Part of the advice process is for us to allow that burden to be shared with us, but equally across everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ensure that, you're going to be okay.
It was just interesting. I was just thinking about that too. I don't want this to become like a catastrophizing scenario, but like, I know through conversations, and this has happened within my family as well, in terms of there was a significant financial decision made in the generation before. There was a huge amount of wealth that was destroyed during that financial decision. That psychology has then flowed down through into the children. Because like, we asked the question, what was life like growing up and what was money role in it in all of our initial discussions. So you as a child, if you're seeing your parents or grandparents go through something like this and those financial lessons are then passed down, that has like cumulative impact also through others. And like that, I'm not trying to like evangelize financial planning here and saying, well, if you had a financial planner, all of this would never happen. But it's just to say, it's not an unrealistic, extrapolation of someone who went through the GFC that blew up. Like, their children who were teenagers during the GFC saw that blow up, then subsequently that impacts their financial decision making into the future, sets their, behavioral biases and emotional relationship to money, which then potentially sets their financial outcomes into the future. It's like, again, coming back to the title being the most expensive invoice you've never paid, these are the things that I guess don't get necessarily talked about, and it's not just in a market context. Like,
Yes.
the example here is in the like the special disability trusts, trying to go and do that on your own, in terms of like,
It's just really hard.
it's hard.
Doing
and it's
Centrelink, being on the
fraught.
phone for hours. Yep.
It's fraught. Like, you make one error in your like deed or structure, like it's the wrong person that's the appointer, or it's the wrong person who's the co-director, and it's, I can probably hear it in my voice, but I'm just the ramifications of that overconfidence or not wanting to pay a fee, just for someone who has a pretty strong, I guess, skill set and knowledge base across all these areas.
Yep.
And this is not meant to be offensive in any way, but it is mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing to me. So it's easy. I understand. It's easy for me on this side of the table to sit there and say that with the knowledge that I have, but to try and be compassionate to those people who are on the other side of the fence who don't have that knowledge, but just trying to, in an articulate manner, implore people to try and understand that how much value is there, aside from, how are you gonna save me tax and give me investment returns to make your fee back?
Yeah. And I think we, in our office, as you know, Chris, we have a little chart, and we refer to it all the time. We have on the left hand side money for money's sake, and the right hand side purpose. And having purpose, or being purposeful with your money, to ensure that you can do the things you want to do with your life, we have found that really engages clients in their own lives, right? And part of what we do on an ongoing basis. So it's not just taking the 50 phone calls on the worst day of COVID.
Correct.
It is helping people on an ongoing basis to help them do the things that they want to do with their life, and coaching and counselling people to help them achieve those things. And so, it can be simple. It can be relatively simple. It can be a case of a family who, what's a good example? A family who has a family home. Maybe the family home is where they've had it for 30 or 40 years. Their kids have grown up there, and it's what we would call a lifestyle asset. Maybe the family home is worth $3 million. And then on the other side, they've accumulated wealth during the course of their working life. Maybe they've got $700,000 or $800,000 sitting in a super fund, and they're living off that money.
Yep.
And as a result of living off that money, they can conceivably, take maybe $50,000 a year in income. Part of the conversation that we will have with those clients will be to say, okay, so you could have, what are all the things you want to do with your life? Well, we want to buy a caravan. We want to go traveling around Australia. We want a motorhome. We want to go to New Zealand. We've got family that are overseas. We want to go and do all these different things, but we can't afford it because we've only got $800,000.
Yep.
So our role is to say, well, let's talk about your overall position. Your overall position is that you've actually got $3.8 million, but you're choosing to live in your $3 million home.
Correct.
You can potentially change this around. Let's just do a hypothetical. Let's look at what it means. Let's change it around. So maybe you do a downsize, you get an extra $1 million. That extra $1 million is invested. Now all of a sudden you're living off $90,000, $100,000, $120,000 a year. Completely change people's lives. But there is significant emotional attachment to the home. And again, our role is to help people navigate that between themselves as partners. Often between the kids as well. And that is, I don't think, something that is well done or easily done when you do it yourself.
Yeah, absolutely not. You're just subject to your own thoughts and beliefs.
Biases.
Yeah. It's like no one, or your children's thoughts and beliefs.
Oh, don't sell the house, Mum.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah.
Oh, that's why would you do that? Where are we going to have Christmas?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, maybe I can come and see you in America.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the sense of opportunity that is in client situations that they don't necessarily realise. Again, is just one of those, like, you could do a whole series of articles on those client situations where we have kind of uncovered those things. But they're also not the things that people talk about or expect when they
No.
come to a financial advice firm. And again, I think that's the industry's fault.
Well, because the industry just says we manage money, right?
Yeah, correct. And well, it's one of the things that I love about independent wealth partners is that we take this approach that it NAB stole the line. It's more than money. Like when that came out as a tagline, I was like, oh, you've like that's but I guess
really? Yeah, okay.
from my perspective, like it is like it's.
I know they stole it. We didn't have it.
We didn't
to
have
start
it.
with.
We didn't. Yeah, correct. But it was very
That's a good line.
aptly grabbed. But yeah, so I think that aspect of what we do and also why we're here, because I know for all of us on the advice side, we talk about this regularly. Like, why are we doing this? Like, I know for you and I, we're not here just to like make money and be as. I say this to clients all the time. If you call us and you're here to be as rich as possible, as fast as possible, we're not the firm for you.
No.
Like it's not purpose aligned for who we are as people and how we want to impact the world. So, that should then flow through into our actions and into our advice, which I really think it does. And like the outcomes, which is again in the article, what we're focusing on, the outcomes that we deliver for clients are phenomenal and are fantastic. But you've just got to, as you said, overcome that initial trust barrier.
Well, look, it's a leap of faith, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
You don't actually know until you go through the process.
Yep.
Chris, it's been really great to, firstly, the fact that you wrote the article, because I know this is something that was banging around your head for a while.
Yep.
And again, it'll be in the show notes, so go and have a read of it. But then secondly, it's been great to get your thoughts on this topic, because I know it's something that we talk about a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
And ultimately, we're just trying to help people achieve their own outcomes, right? So it's something we talk about a lot. So thanks so much for your time.
Welcome.
Appreciate it. And
talk to you soon, no doubt.
thanks, mate.
Thanks.
Cheers.